Hello, everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of DC Studios' Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 2, entitled A Man is Only as Good as His Bird. This is, of course, from DC Studios, James Gunn, and HBO Max, the continuation of the DCU, the newly formed DCU, even though this is rolling over from the DCEU, but has been retconned to fit in the current cinematic universe that we are currently enjoying. Yes, this show, of course, stars John Cena as our main character, Peacemaker, and we left off last episode with one heck of a cliffhanger. We had Chris, who is Peacemaker, going into another dimension where his father is alive, his brother is still alive, and well, at least in his father case, is not this grand wizard of the KKK father, abusive father that he grew up with, that helped raise him into the person that he is, just to put it mildly. But now we got a more caring dad, at least that's what we've been presented with so far, and his brother, who he accidentally murdered when he was younger, is alive in this universe, and they have a bond. Not to mention that he has a relationship, or had a relationship, with Harcourt in this dimension as well. So basically, this is the dimension that he dreamt of being in. This is the life that he wanted. But unfortunately, in typical Peacemaker fashion, he messed it up at the end of episode 1 when he murdered his version of Peacemaker in that universe. And that's where it went off at. It was like, okay, now what? This is a big cluster that he has put himself in now. And so we pick up in this episode, and it begins with the introduction of Rick Flag Sr. onto this show. We've seen him in Creature Commandos. We've seen a glimpse of him in Superman, and I think we got a glimpse of him in last week's episode, but now we get a full introduction to him as far as being the head of Argus now. And he's been trying to get the file on the death, surrounding the death of his son, Rick Flag Jr., who was murdered by, wait for it, Peacemaker. So he wants that file to see exactly what happened. Now that he's the director of Argus, that was his first order of business, and he retrieved it and got all of the gory details on the demise of his son. So this sets up his motivation throughout this season, looking for vengeance against Peacemaker. And this little cold open that we got here was set, I think, 14 months before what took place in last episode. So that explains away why Economos is surveilling Peacemaker, and why he has exhausted his resources into finding out what Peacemaker is up to. And this is the one part that I was kind of confused on. And I guess I was looking at it through Kevin Reed eyes, because in my vision, I would not be surveilling the person that murdered my child. This would not be by the book, even though Rick Flag is by the book. I get all that, but you killed my son. I'm coming at you with all the power of the military and whatever to get rid of you. And I don't care what you did. I don't care that you saved the world last season. I'm going to kill you. At least that's how I picture it playing out, but this is Rick Flag Sr. He's by the book, and I get all that. We're setting it up for the big climactic showdown later on this season that's probably going to result in both parties going their separate ways. I don't think anybody is going to murder one or the other there, but it's kind of weird. It just felt weird that okay, he killed my son. Let's surveil him. you know, let's surveil him. I don't know. It's just weird. But that's besides the point. After that, we get our big dance number opening from every episode, and we go into Peacemaker waking up, fixing some coffee. There's still layover from the orgy that took place in his house the night before from last episode, where it was just, I can just, if I could be blunt for a second here, it's all I could think about in that scene was, man, that house must smell horrible. There's no way I could have walked through that house drinking coffee like Lolly Da. There is no way that could take place. But anyways, previously, Peacemaker was trying to get rid of the other Peacemaker, body, I should say, get rid of the body, and he couldn't. So he called in help from Adrian or Vigilante to come over and help him get rid of that body. And before he gets to the house to help him, Adebayo comes over there and wants to talk to Chris, and Chris won't let her in the house because of all of the naked dead people that's laying all over. Not dead, I'm sorry. The naked people that's just laying all over the house. So they sit outside there talking, and at the same time, simultaneously, you have Economos in his surveillance van, and he gets a new handler, and that handler is played by Tim Meadows, who you may know from SNL fame from back in the day. He's on the show, give a nice comedic relief, I guess you could say, which is weird because everybody here is funny. I don't think you needed another comedic actor here. I'll just jump right into it. I was going to wait till later to talk about it, but since this is introduction onto the show, this is the one character that I wish they hadn't used. I wish they would have went a different route here. Not so much the character. I didn't like how the character played out. And I like Tim Meadows. And I thought he was going to be funny. But it wasn't. It just didn't fit the show. He was funny, but it didn't fit the show. You know, it was like it was being too funny. I like the organic funny that this show provides, you know, from the first season. Even moments in the first episode of this season, there were some organic funny moments, but that was forced. This was just trying to be funny for funny's sake, and it just didn't quite get there with me with this character. I don't think it was Tim Meadows. It was just the way that character was written, and he played it in that fashion. But regardless, he's there to watch Economos watch Peacemaker, you know, to keep an eye on him, because they know at Argus that Economos is friends with Peacemaker, which is weird that you even have him surveying his best friend, and you know that there's probably something sketchy about that, but you still have him there to do the job, but you bring somebody in to watch over him. All right, fine. That is what it is. So while Adebayo is there, she's telling Chris that he's being surveilled because I guess Argus had a reason to worry because Economos told Adebayo that they're watching him, and particularly him. He's watching him for Argus, and they know about the pocket dimension and whatnot. And so this is where she comes over to inform him of this, and now he's worried. That was a nice little scene, a nice little interaction between John Cena and Danielle Brooks on that front porch there. That was funny. I like that. John Cena, he was born to play Peacemaker. You know, John Cena is just perfect for this role. Perfect for this role. He had me dying, laughing in this scene. Just then, Vigilante comes to help him out. He's excited because Chris called him over. He thought he wanted to hang out because he's best friends with him and whatnot. And he has his cleaning supplies because Chris asked him to bring his cleaning supplies. They go in the house. You see all the naked people around, and and Vigilante is like, okay, what's going on? Okay, I need you to help me get rid of this dead body, or whatever. And like, you got all these naked people up in here. What you had? What was going on? Oh, I was depressed. I was in the mood. So it was a last minute thing. Like, you couldn't call your best friend. So Peacemaker, like, uh, I didn't think you was into sex. I thought you was a virgin or something. And in creepy, weird, and awkward vigilante way, he was like, "Man, I'm not into sex, but I'll be into it if my best friend's involved." It was the sweetest thing, but the creepiest thing all at the same time. I love Freddie Stromer as this character of Adrian Chase as Vigilante. He is amazing in this role. This character shouldn't work, and this character wouldn't work in any other show, movie, nothing. This this character would not work except on this show, and it was just perfect, man. And Freddie is killing it in this role. Hilarious throughout the entire episode. He really saved this episode for me. This was a good episode, not great, but good. But he really took it to the next level with me. I really enjoyed his inclusion in this episode with a lot of other characters as well. We later meet up with the rest of the 11th Street Gang. I think that's what they call themselves, with Hardcore, Adebayo, Economos, Vigilante, and Peacemaker. They all come together. And that was cool to see them all together. Again, we haven't seen them together, and it feels like forever. When did the first season of Peacemaker come out? Because it felt like, wasn't it during the pandemic or the year after, 2021 or something like that when it came out? I know it's been a while. It's been a while since we saw that first season, but it felt like forever, man. And it was a nice moment to see them all together again. But just to touch back on the cleanup crew of Vigilante and Peacemaker cutting up the body of Peacemaker 2, we'll call him, to get rid of him, to incinerate him. And once again, man, Adrian Chase, hilarious in this scene. Obviously, Chris is disturbed by this because he has to cut up a body, not just any body, but his body. He has to cut him up and incinerate him, and he's like freaking out by this, trying to hold it in. And he looks over at Vigilante, and he's just giggling away. He's just happy to be with his best friend. It was so hilarious, man. It was. I'm telling you, this Vigilante is the greatest thing ever. If they do a spinoff of this show, I hope it's about Vigilante. I would love to deep dive into that character, man. He is so much fun. I hope he get unleashed like he did in that first season, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, they end up burning the body and whatnot, so that's taken care of. But of course, it's still a problem there because there's a dimension that is missing a Peacemaker now. So it's still a problem. Meanwhile, you have when they went into that pocket dimension, of course, it sends that signal back to Argus that he's entered this pocket dimension. They call Argus, that is, calls Tim Meadows' character and informs him that, look, there's supposed to be a little meet and greet tonight. Well, a meeting of this 11th Street gang. They're gonna get together and have drinks or whatnot, while Economos is away with him. You and your team go storm Chris's house and find this anomaly, find this pocket dimension. And so that's set up. And then we have the reunion of the gang, and nice reunion. Like I said before, Chris takes Hardcore to the side and trying to talk to her. There's still something there. There's something that took place with them between the events of season 1 and now, to whereas I think they hooked up, and Hardcore is still Hardcore. She has all of her defenses up. She's not allowing anybody to get in, and this forces Peacemaker to go on that drunken bender. And we all know when you get drunk, you lose functions. And in Peacemaker's case, when he drinks, he does stupid stuff. He got drunk last episode. He had this wild orgy. He goes into the pocket dimension. He goes into that dimension where his father is alive, his brother is alive, and so on and so forth, which ended up in the death of Peacemaker too. So at this point that he's going to do something stupid with his drinking. Meanwhile, we have Tim Meadows and his gang and his crew about to storm Peacemaker's house, and they get inside the house. It was a funny scene. Don't get me wrong. Tim Meadows is funny. I like Tim Meadows, but it just didn't fit the show to me. It just didn't fit. I don't know what it is. And this is a comedic show, but it was like a different level of humor that just didn't match the humor that we get on this show. But in any event, it is what it is. It's there. I can't change it. So I just take it for what it is. Nice little scene with his crew when he gives them the nicknames. It's in the trailer if you haven't seen the episode. But funny. It's a funny little exchange there. And so they get into the house. They find the pocket dimension, or at least they get the signal with the device that they have. And just when they're about to stumble upon it, eagerly, we finally understand why this episode was titled the way it was. Eagerly went in. Eagerly took out all of them. I mean, took them out. I mean, it was. I was not expecting that. I was so giddy watching that eagle just tear those highly trained in a nice montage that we got a few minutes earlier. Highly trained operatives who are probably the best at what they do, but couldn't hold a candle to this eagle. Tore them apart, literally, and got them out the house. So I think even murdered a few, but it's all good. And so Peacemaker returns home. He's drunk, and when you're drunk, and you have a phone, because I didn't mention when they were disposing of the body of Peacemaker 2, he found the phone. Or at least Peacemaker 2's phone, and he kept it, of course. And now he has the phone, and he drunk texts Hardcore in that dimension. But there's no signal because you're in a different dimension. So this prompts him to go into the other dimension and send the text. And sure enough, she responds to the text and signs it off with a broken heart emoji, and that's how the episode comes to an end, setting up just disaster. It's going to be nothing but disaster that's going to come out of this. I see no good coming from this. It's going to be bad. But this was a good episode. Like I said before, it didn't set the world on fire. Wasn't much action aside from eagerly taking out that Black Ops team, but it did the job. It moved the story forward, and that's what you want to do when you're watching episodic television. And so, good on them. I am excited moving forward because there is a lot here uh, uh, that they're scratching the surface on, and I'm excited to see where we go. Judging by the trailer for next week's episode, it looks like Chris is going to be in that dimension, posing as Peacemaker 2 and having the time of his life. So it looks like it's going to be a fun episode. It looks like it's going to have a lot of action next week. Yeah, it looks exciting. I am hyped up for it, surprisingly, and can't wait for it. But as far as an episode 2, I think it did the job it was supposed to do. It wasn't a filler. It had its moments, comedy wise. Not a lot of action in a superhero show, but this isn't that type of show. This isn't Marvel. This is a different type of storytelling here, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen when the wheels fall off of this train. I would like to know, what did you think of episode 2 of Peacemaker season 2? Did you like Tim Meadows in this role? Like I said, I like Tim Meadows, but I just didn't like him in this role. His style of humor fits more of an administrative side of things, as opposed of a field operative. You feel me? And that's the way I feel. He just doesn't scream Black Ops leader. It just doesn't. It just didn't compute with me. As the series go along and he pops up again, maybe I'll feel differently the next time he pops up. But right now, I don't know, man. I'm skeptical about it. But that's just me. I would like to know your thoughts on the matter. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com, or you can search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube, and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 2. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.